Hey ho, Wendy Sue, Fountain Pen News. It is almost the end of the year, 2024, and I wanted to do an Inky favorites of 2024. And hunker down, everybody, it's going to be a long one. I could not narrow down beyond about 15 inks. So I pre-prepped my little inky blobs that I draw. You may have seen in my profile picture, the inky blob that I drew. And so I love to do these little guys as I'm swatching inks, but pardon my voice, I've been a little under the weather since Christmas Eve, and so, but I wanted to get this done because I've been excited to do it, and I've had it set up for like 10 days or something to do this way. I have with me two Kakamori nibs, one brass and one steel, and the brass one is in the short new Kakamori holder, which I really like because it helps me kind of get closer. It feels like I'm getting closer to the page. And then of course my steel one in my Papa J Woodworks amazing nib holder that I got around autumn time, which will be a permanent fixture in my lineup going forward because I love it so much. It's so beautiful. So let's just jump right in. This is going to be a long one, so hunker down, and I'm just going to be switching off between the brass and the steel as I feel, as I feel the need. I don't know, whatever. And I'm just going to cough. Hold on. Okay. So I just was going to write the name of the ink and talk about it a little bit and talk about how I found it and how I got it. I have all of the inks lined up all here and out of their boxes. So hopefully this will be not as long as it could have been if I had done it a different way. So the first one I have on my list is Birmingham Pen Company Terracotta. And this is an ink that I got in an ink sample from my friend Jenny. Do I need like a blotting something? I probably do. Hold on. This is my Dare to Lead completion certificate that I got for completing Brene Brown's Dare to Lead program, so we're going to use that. So this first one is, and I'm using onion skin paper, so it's really, really hard to write on because it fluffs up underneath. So this side's not so hard to write on because it's flatter, but this side is all fluffed up because of the ink behind, so it's just kind of difficult to write on. I'm actually going to set this ink down. So this is Birmingham Pen Company and it is terracotta. Anyway, so I got it in a sample from my friend Jenny, and she's a local friend. She's become a really good friend of mine, and I really just appreciate her so much. But I got this ink from her, and she had split a sample with me, and so I got this, and it was so pleasing to me. Just the kind of not quite red, pinkish tone just made me so happy, and you can kind of see what it's like in a wash, and I just love it so much. So then I was on Pen Addict Slack, and I was looking around for somebody who was willing to sell me a bottle or samples of Birmingham Terracotta. And this wonderful gentleman whose name I don't remember, I'm so sorry, but thank you so much again. I paid shipping, and he gave me the remainder of his bottle, which is, I just almost knocked over, but it's still, more than half of the bottle. And so I have here my coveted Birmingham Terracotta, which is one of my top inks of 2024. So that is the first one. The next one is kind of a category of inks. So on this side, you can see this beautiful multi-shader, and I'm sure a lot of you can guess which one that is. I chose one to kind of show to be the one that represents the category, and the category is multi-shaders. And so the ink is Sailor Manyo Haha. And I love this ink. I love how it shades. I love how it gives different view, different color as it dries down. Manyo Haha. And so this is kind of a category winner of I love anything multi-shader. I'm stoked about, and I just want to have every one of these, all of these manyo that are multi-shaders like this. Any other brands that I've found that have been multi-shading have been some of my favorite inks of the year. And so I just wanted to throw this one in here, Sailor Manyo Haha, to represent all of those wonderful dual shaders and multi-shaders that have been so popular this year. So speaking of dual shaders, maybe for this one I'll switch to the other nib just for funsies. Oh, cool. I just knocked down a beverage on the floor. That's awesome. Cool. That's great. I'm just going to keep going. So the next one on my list over here on the left, if you want to guess, you can, but I doubt you will. This is one that really took me by surprise, and I'm going to switch to the brass nib just for funsies. But this is actually Graf von Faber Castell Violet Blue. I was gifted by Carol from Slumberland Studios. She gifted me 2 Graf von Faber Castell inks this year, Olive Green and Stone Gray, which were also favorites of mine. But then after that, because of the great experience that I had, I sought out and got the Violet Blue. So I'm just going to shorten this up and just say Graf von Faber Castell Violet Blue. I have no idea if you guys can see what I'm writing or what the situation is, but we're just going to go with it. So anyway, I got this and I really loved how it really is violet and blue. I haven't used my brass nib in a while. It's kind of, I also may have just gotten my fingers on it. We just, it's my anniversary. My husband is asleep. This is how we roll. And we made homemade pizzas tonight in our new outdoor pizza oven, and let me tell you, there is a learning curve, and so I may have gotten some oily residue on my brass nib when I was putting it in here because of pizza hands, crazy pizza hands. So anyway, number 3, Graf von Faber Castell Violet Blue. Let me get this rinsed off all the way. It is much more saturated than it seems, and so it takes a little bit to rinse out. And so let me put the lid on that, and then I will talk about the one on the right here. This one is one that I got in a sample and then ended up getting a whole bottle. This is Kobe number 64, Sumiyoshi Uptown Jade. And this one just made me so happy. I've had it inked up in so many pens this year. And so I used that sample entirely and was very happy to acquire a bottle of it. So let me just write this down. Kobe. Let me make sure that that's right. Sumiyoshi. Yeah, that's what it says. I wrote all this stuff down ahead of time. Number, what did I say? 64. Sumiyoshi Uptown Jade. And I just love the way it shades. It is so very fun to use, especially in broader nibs. I just find it to be such a beautiful color, and I love it. And I wrote a, I should tag him in this and maybe send him the pangram that I wrote. But when I had just the sample of this, I was going to try to do 30 inks, 30 days, and I couldn't do it because I'm a dropout. And I wrote pangrams about YouTube people, about fountain pen YouTube people. And I wrote a pangram about this ink about Lau from Kenton Crafts. And I don't think I ever posted the video, and I never told him that I did that. But maybe I'll tag him here. That'd be funny, and tell him about that and tell him that pangram. So next up on the list, I may find another paper here. I'm not really trying to hide these from you guys. I don't really care. You see, because I kind of want you to guess. See if you can guess any of the rest of these. This next one is one that I felt super lucky to get. I'm just folding this paper in half. Instead of doing it off camera, I'll just do it on camera so you can appreciate my difficulty. So it's just a piece of onion skin paper, and I'm just trying to fold it in half so that I can lay it under my hand and not have it not have it like drooping off into my lap like that other paper was. I'm a mess. Okay, the next ink that I have is from my friend Matthew at The Wet Pen. I loved all of his inks this year. I did a video about them. They are wonderful. This one that I chose for the top inky experiences of 2024 is Deception Pass. This is another one that is kind of a dual shader. It sort of goes on blue and dries with kind of a yellowy green. And I have really, really enjoyed Matthew's. Oh no, I can't get that in there. I wonder if it got enough. Hold on. Matthew, I just ran into the foible of the narrow bottle top. Matthew ordered a bunch of bottles to put his inks in, and they sent him the wrong opening size. And I just ran into that with this beautiful nib holder. Wouldn't quite fit in there, but I think I got it. So this is the Wet Pen Deception Pass. And I think the shading is beautiful. All of his inks are incredibly well behaved. I feel super lucky to have them. And I have shared them with a couple of people, including my friend seemownay. And they just are really amazing inks. And I cannot wait to see what Matthew comes up with next. So that is the next one, the Wet Pen Deception Pass. I don't know if you can see as that's drying down. Maybe you can zoom in on your YouTube. Did you know you can do that? You can just like pinch or, you know, zoom out on your YouTube and zoom in on people's videos. I didn't know that for the longest time, which was kind of embarrassing, but now I know. So you can do that. If you want to watch that ink dry, you can. It's really fun. The next one is one of the first bottles that I bought. In fact, it may have been the very first bottle I ever bought from Ferris Wheel Press. And I'm going to start shaking it up because it is Necesito. It has some shimmer in it. It has a lot of shimmer in it, actually. And this is the first ink that I bought a second bottle of because I had sampled and used so much of it that I was afraid I was going to run out. And so I bought another one. That is Ferris Wheel Press Sugar and Spite. And don't think that I'm going to use my other one because I'm not going to be able to get this one, this chonker in there, I don't think. But this one, I think I can. Let's just see. I don't know. There we go. I'm going to set this down. It's so dangerous to set down Ferris Wheel Press bottles, isn't it? So this is nope, that didn't work. Ferris Wheel Press. Oh no, what's going on? Okay. Wheel Press. Anyway, I used a lot of pinks like this year. Some with shimmer, some without. But one of the things that really kept me using this one is the name. I think Sugar and Spite is a hilarious name. And I am so, it just tickled me to no end. And so I really had a lot of fun with this ink because I liked writing down on something that I had written with writing the name of the ink and putting down that I had used Sugar and Spite. So that's what's going on with that. Sugar and Spite. It is a really wonderful hot pink and very saturated with a beautiful kind of goldish. No, it's a pink shimmer. I think it's a hot pink ink with a hot pink shimmer. That's how I would describe it. Ferris Wheel Press, Sugar and Spite. So the next one was one that was not difficult for me to decide to use. I use it all the time. In fact, I inked it up in a pen yesterday because I am planning out what pens I'm going to take to Philadelphia for the Philly Pen Show. And so I have been inking up things that make me happy and with inks that I know will behave well. And one of the ones that I really love, and this bottle has seen better days, but you can see that I wrote down here Sterling Silver, another friend that I met through Brad Dowdy's Pen Addict Slack, had some Birmingham pen company inks that he wasn't using and felt like could be better used by me. And so he very kindly sent them to me. And this was one of them, Sterling Silver. It just so happened that in that lot of things that he sent me, this was in there. And I already had Sterling Silver that I had purchased from Birmingham. And so I have a lot of Sterling Silver. But it is one of my very favorites. It has such beautiful shading. Birmingham. And it is Sterling Silver. I'm using new headphones tonight, and I don't know if I like them, to be honest. I'm hoping that the sound sounds okay for you, but for me, it's very muffled. They're noise-canceling headphones, and so I feel like I can't hear anything. And I can change them to a wear mode, but I'm afraid it's going to make a change to the microphone and make things not so good for you. So I'm just going to deal with it and maybe not use these next time I want to do a video. Anyway, Birmingham Pen Company, Sterling Silver. So this next one, this is a really great kept secret, everybody. Get ready, because this is something that I think everyone should go out and try to get. I got mine from Vanessa Pens, and I know for sure they have samples as of the recording of this video, but I don't know if they have any bottles left. There are other vendors that have bottles left, and the ink is, it comes in a cardboard tube like this, and it's the limited edition 2024 Rohrer und Klingner Blue-Eyed Mary. Schreibtinte Blue-Eyed Mary is what it's called. And it is such a beautiful turquoisey shade. I have a couple of inks on my list that basically look exactly the same. And that's just going to be the way it is. But this one has made me really, really happy. I haven't had it super a long time, but I've been using it a lot. And I've been using it in just washes of color. And here in my onion skin book, Rohrer, there's an extra R in there, und Klingner. And we have a really dear friend who is a Blue-Eyed Mary. And so that was one of the reasons why I just, not even having seen a sample of this or anything, I just bought it because it made me think of our friend. And so shout out to our Blue-Eyed Mary down in Florida. We love you. And so anyway, this is Blue-Eyed Mary, Rohrer und Klingner. And you should try to find it because it is wonderful and very fun. So that is that. And I'm just going to let that dry and then swap over to the other side. So I'll be right back. Okay, so the next ink is one that I actually bought secondhand. It's one that I never thought I would get. It's one that I had seen people swatch and was really excited about and couldn't get. And it was Montblanc, the Beatles Psychedelic Purple. Someone I know was selling a couple of extra bottles that they didn't really need, and they were really selling them just almost at the price that you would buy them new, which is really unbelievable and exciting. And so I was able to pick this up, and it is just a very vibrant kind of almost neon purple. It's psychedelic, if you will, so I could get it, psychedelic purple. So this is Montblanc. Beatles. Nope. Psychedelic. That's a hard word to write and talk at the same time. Purple. And it just has such a fiery purple look to it. I think sometimes purples are too muted for me. I mean, I like a muted purple. Don't get me wrong. I have one later in this list. But this one just was so vibrant and bright to me that I loved it and was so excited that I was able to pick up a bottle. So Montblanc Beatles Psychedelic Purple. And this next one was a real surprise to me. This is another one that I bought sight unseen from Cult Pens, from one of my favorite ink brands, Octopus Fluids. And I just, every time I order from Cult Pens, I really like to order Cult Pens exclusive inks. I think they have really good exclusives. And so I did that, but then I also found this one that I just saw the sample and picked it up. And it is Octopus Fluids Karibik, which I understand means Caribbean. So I've had some fun with that, putting it into a Caribbean, my Caribbean and Onyx Twisby that I just got. And, but I've already used like kind of a lot of this, and I haven't had it for very long. But, so this is Octopus Fluids. Have you guys ever tried Octopus Fluids inks? I love them. I think they're so great. They have made inks since, I just looked it up today. They've been in business since 2011, and they've made inks for other companies. Like they make the inks for Diplomat, but they just, you know, more recently started doing inks on their own, and I love them. They have some great sheening inks. They have the write and draw inks, and I am a huge fan. So I had to get an Octopus Fluids on this list, and the one I chose is Karibik, or Caribbean. And then remember how I said Blue-Eyed Mary, you'd see some colors that looked exactly like it. So like, I just want you to look at Blue-Eyed Mary and this next one that I'm going to do. They look really, really similar. But they act a little bit different in the writing, and so that is why I chose them both. I'll do this up again so I can show it, because I think the label is so beautiful. This is Birmingham Pen Company Robin's Egg. If you ever watched my 8 pen questions video, you will have seen that I was excited and anxious to try some inks from Birmingham Pen Company. And boy, did the universe deliver. I'll tell you what, I really had a chance to try and acquire a number of Birmingham inks. I was gifted a lot, and I was able to pick up some secondhand from people who weren't using them. And so I am a huge fan of Birmingham Pen Company inks, and I have a lot of them now. This one is Robin's Egg. Birmingham. Robin's Egg. And I just have really enjoyed this, especially in broader nibs. It has amazing shading. It's really super beautiful and gives a great writing experience. It's lubricated, it's wonderful, and I am a fan of Robin's Egg. The next one was another one that I ordered from Cult Pens because I was ordering some of the flower inks that they had, that Diamine had, and I picked up a whole bunch of them because they were so cheap from Cult Pens, and so I picked up a bunch. If you ever place an order with them, throw in a few extra of these little 30 ml bottles of Diamine inks. This one is Bougainvillea, and it's from the Flower series, and it matched to one of my pens, and they are paired for life now. And so I really became accustomed to this ink because I used it a lot this year. This blue edge, or this Robin's Egg doesn't want to come out of this nib, so give me 1 second. But anyway, it just felt like it was coming out of the nib. If you look at Ferris Wheel Press Sugar and Spite and Bougainvillea, they look a little bit similar, but there's some sheen in Bougainvillea that comes across, and then obviously the shimmer in Ferris Wheel Press Sugar and Spite. So this one is Diamine. And I learned to spell this word this year. Bougainvillea. And it is really something. It's just such a vibrant magenta color. And it, like I said, it does have a little sheen to it in the bigger swatches and thicker lines. And it matched to my purple, which is actually called Purple, Franklin Christoph pen that I used a lot this year. And so this one has been one that I became really accustomed to and had a lot of fun writing with it this year. So Diamine, Bougainvillea. This next one is, I always wonder in these lists how much of this is just recency bias and, which ones we are, found a long time ago and which ones are more recent, and so they're favorites of ours. But this one's more recent, and I picked it up from my friends over at Van Ness. I have a Van Ness code down in the description, as well as Atlas and Pengineer. I'll show this because it's so fun. It only has a couple of ink samples in it right now, but this is one of my ink sample roulette little guys. So make sure to check out those those in the description code, those discount codes. They are for you. Anyway, I got this from Van Ness. It is Robert Oster. It's one of the only Robert Oster inks that made my list this year. And it is called Free Spirit. And I'm going to have to shake it up for a minute here because, are you a shaker? Do you hesitate to shake up a shimmer ink like this? I just don't. I just shake it up. I don't care. I know people who very carefully turn it over and don't want any bubbles. And I just don't. I just shake it up I just don't care. I just think there's two kinds of people who really shake them and people who are really gentle with them. And I am a shaker. So this one is Robert Oster. Is it Oster or Oster? Who knows? Robert Oster, reach out to me and tell me. Robert Oster. Oster sounds more correct to me. Free Spirit. And this is a really fun bluey purple, and it has what I would say is that it's like a really light blue with a purpley shimmer in it, and I think that's what attracts me to it so much, is that it has that purple shimmer, and so it just gives it a really unique look. That different colored shimmer in the base of the ink is really has really been fun. And I have this eyedroppered into one of my Franklin Christoph pens, and I've really, really enjoyed it. So we just have a couple more, and this has been going on. I'm kind of playing content creator roulette because my phone battery is about to die. But I just want to try to finish this up. And so I will do the last 2 on my list. And then I have 2 that have come in recently that I have to include. And I will just do a little blurb of them and talk about them just a little bit. But the next one on my list is Wearingeul Jane Eyre. This just really took me by surprise. I said earlier that I really liked the pop of the psychedelic purple, which I do, but this muted purple just really, oh man, I love it so much. I've had it in a number of pens. I honestly haven't had it that long. This could be a recency thing as well. I don't know. But this is Wearingeul. Another thing I learned to spell this year, Jane Eyre. It has amazing shading. I have heard a lot of people say that it's dry. I haven't really had that experience. I've not had a problem with it being dry. And I love it. I love it. And then the last one that I pre-prepped before I do the 2 that have come in super recently. I'm going to shake up another shimmer one. So if you're bothered by me shaking up a shimmer ink, here it is. I'm shaking it up. There's going to be bubbles. It's going to be craziness. The world is going to go mad. It's going to be fine. This is one of the Shimmertastic inks by Diamine, and this one is Brandy Dazzle. I also love Caramel Sparkle, but this one I have had permanently inked up for months in one of my flex pens, and I love it. I think it's beautiful, and I love the color of this shimmer, and I have found that these Shimmertastic inks are so well behaved and easy to use compared to some other shimmer inks of other brands. And so, oh, jeepers, criminy, look at that. I made a bloop, you guys. I made a bloop. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay, anyway. Diamine. That looked like it scared me. Brandy Dazzle. It's not... I'm not going to say what it sounds like. You guys can figure that out for yourself. It sounds like a special kind... It sounds like a made-up name. Brandy Dazzle... And it has been so fun to write with, especially in that flex nib. I've had it with a Pilot FA nib for months and months and months. And I have really, really enjoyed it. So there's that Brandy Dazzle. So pretty. It has kind of a, I don't even know how to describe it. It has kind of an orangey copper base with a coppery gold shimmer. I mean, was that like the dumbest description ever? I used like every metallic color name I could think of all in one description. So then I just wanted to do 2 quick, since I just have a couple minutes and my phone hasn't died yet. I'm going to do a couple of recently acquired inks that I didn't have on this list, but man, they are really striking me right now. So I'll be right back with those. So this one I blame on my friend seemownay. You may know her as seemownay. This is Kobe, what did I say? Kobe Hydrangea. I didn't write down the number for this. What did I do with the box to this so I can tell you what number it is? I mean, you guys can find it, right? If you Google Kobe Hydrangea, this is going to come up. But this was one of her inks of 2024, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen that one before. I love it. I want to see more of it. And so I got some, of course, because that's what I do. And then I was like, oh, Simona, she's right. I need it. I need it again. I need it. So I got it, and I have been really loving it. So I'm not going to use my, hey, things are falling. I'm going to use this little thing. This is, have I talked about this? This is a very fancy ink muddling stick. It's not. It's a cheap glass short cocktail stirrer. You can get them on AliExpress for like $1. So this one, I'm just going to make a little bloop right here because I don't have time to do my little inky guy. So that's that. And it is Kobe. And I thought that Simona wouldn't like this because it's like a blurple. And I thought she was bored with these, but she really liked this one. Oh, and I've got caramel sparkle or Brandy Dazzle still coming out of this nib. I am a mess. I am a mess. And there's, oh my gosh, what a disaster. Things are falling down all around me. I don't know what's going on. Hydrangea. And I love the way this shades. I love the different tones of purple that kind of come out in it. And especially when it doesn't have brandy dazzle mixed in. It's really beautiful. So thanks, Simona. I appreciate it. Kobe Hydrangea. And then the last one, I blame someone on the interwebs for this, that I found this ink. And now I don't know where I put it, but I'm looking around my desk. Where did I set down that ink? Oh, where did I set down that ink? Oh, I found the box for hydrangea. If you want to know what hydrangea is, especially if you're watching this dry and thinking, oh my gosh, that's amazing, the blue and the purple, it's number 57. That's the number of it. Okay, I'm going to find my last ink and come right back. Okay, so I found this on the interwebs. Someone had used the 150-year anniversary Diamine Safari. And first of all, these come in the coolest bottles ever. And since I've had it, I've spilled it 3 times because I don't know. I don't know why. It happens sometimes, you know. Certain inks just really like to be spilly, and I have gotten this one all over the place. So this one, I just think is such a gorgeous color of green. It's kind of khaki olive. Gorgeous. I just love it. Oh my gosh, I've been so excited about that. I'm going to use this little nib for this. This one is Diamine 150th Safari. So if you like any of these, let me know in the comments. I'm really interested to hear what your thoughts are on these inks, but these are my final ones. I'll try to put a picture at the end here so you can see them all together and see them dry. But this has been really fun, and thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Thanks so much. Pen news.